All right, we are here doing a quick NFL draft preview. Draft is in a couple hours. A couple hours here. Mike, what are your big kind of questions, storylines? What are you thinking about going into the draft?
The primary thing I'm thinking about is if Tua is going to fall beyond 5, beyond 10, into the middle of the first round. You know, you're a big Tua fan. You keep sending me these links about how his hip's healthy, everything's checks out nice. But I don't know. Yeah, maybe the Dolphins do like Burrow more than they like Tua. They're not going to get Burrow, but like you don't put that much effort into it if you like a guy. I don't know. To me, it just seems like they're scared of making that pick. If you're going through that much trouble to get the first pick and get Burrow, if all things are equal and Tua is healthy, and by all accounts he is, he's by far the better quarterback than Burrow. I don't think that's any question. He's more accurate. He's more mobile, even with the hip injury. It just tells me they don't want to be forced into making that pick, and they're scared of making it.
So one of my questions with the Dolphins is, there's been a little talk of them going up to 3 and actually going up for an offensive tackle.
Right.
They can still get one at 5. Obviously, there's 3 that I think are phenomenal, 2 more that I think are very good, and then there's plenty of depth. It does definitely go down a level.
Right.
A lot of them are right tackles at that point potentially, but still, could you see a scenario with their 3 first-round picks where the Dolphins do not take a quarterback?
No, I don't think they can take that chance. I don't think. Obviously, Fitz Magic, he's whatever. He may be on his last year. They traded a second for Rosen last year. They don't like him. They didn't give him a shot last year. But we talked earlier. Like if you're going to trade a second for Rosen, let him see if he's the guy. Build around him. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. They're still the 3rd or 4th best team in that division anyway, and they're going to have a pretty high pick next year. They're not going to get Trevor Lawrence without the number 1 pick, but you see where I'm going with that. Like if you already have a young quarterback in place, do everything you can to see if he can be the man, and instead of forfeiting more assets to try to build that position when you might already have the answer in your house.
You want some breaking news? Heard it here first.
Who doesn't? Let's hear it.
If Tua falls below, I would say anywhere in the teens, my guess is New England comes up for him. I've read those rumors, and Saban and Belichick are very close friends. They need a quarterback. Would be one of the least shocking things for me is if New England ends up with 2 on their roster after tonight.
How would that happen though? Like, give me. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but how would that happen? Like if Herbert goes, if Jordan Love goes, if Burrow goes, 3 of the top 10, that's the only scenario, right?
Yeah, unless the quarterbacks just don't get taken, I don't see that happening. I also don't see Tua falling that far. I'm just saying, we've seen weirder things. Aaron Rodgers fell almost into the first round.
Yeah.
And everybody looks really stupid for that decision now. But I would not be surprised. Next question for you. It seems like everybody is trying to get up to take the tackles, Wills, Wirfs, the other guys, Becton from Louisville seem to be kind of the top 3, but you also have the kid from Houston, Jones. You have Andrew Thomas from Georgia. There's a lot of tackle talent, but it seems like everybody's trying to come up to get it.
Yeah.
Do you think we see all these guys gone by 13, 14? Would that shock you?
I think it would, because there's been so much hype. It wouldn't shock me, but I just don't see it happening because all the talk leading up to tonight has been about the quarterbacks. It's been about the wide receivers, what order they're going to go. Could this all be smoke and mirrors with the trades? I don't know. But like, if you think about some of the mock drafts, like, are the Chargers going to really take an offensive lineman? No, probably not. I don't know. Maybe. The Browns, for sure are. If they don't, then I'd be stunned. Are the Jets going to take an offensive lineman? I don't know. Like, they need a wide receiver too. They lost Robbie Anderson. They don't really have anybody to throw the ball to. So I think linemen are smart picks, and we've seen teams that take linemen win Super Bowls, but at the end of the day, you also have to fill a need. I mean, I don't think anybody considers a lineman the best player available. I don't know, man. It wouldn't surprise me, but I just don't see it. Nobody's talking about it. Why would it happen? I don't know.
The interesting thing is you start doing the math, right? You got the quarterbacks, just call it the top three,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We're just going to keep Love out of it for now. You have the top 3 offensive tackles, right? You have 2, I guess, consensus wide receivers in Lamb and Judy.
Yep.
Chase Young's going.
Yep.
Okuda's going high.
Yep.
There's a decent chance that Derek Brown from Auburn goes in the top 10, a defensive tackle. He's an absolute game wrecker. You start adding all these picks up, there's going to be some really good guys here at the beginning of the teens. Somebody's going to fall.
Somebody has to fall.
Somebody has to fall just off of numbers alone. And that's if, somebody doesn't come up to take somebody crazy that you just don't, somebody just values someone higher than you thought.
Right.
Sounds like Atlanta's coming up potentially get C.J. Henderson. If Okuda goes early, Henderson seems to be the number 2 overall corner. And then again, if you believe what the experts are saying, there's a fall off between the next group of corners.
Right.
So sounds like Atlanta is hell-bent on either getting Okuda somehow or Henderson. They're going to have to come up to get him. So he's another one that could go in that top 10, 12 area. Somebody's falling, and it's going to be really interesting to see who it is.
I know I've said this, and I think it could be Tua, but I mean, it would be just crazy if he fell, but it's entirely possible because who else is going to fall? Like, who else is set up to fall that far?
And there's some intriguing guys like Kinlaw from South Carolina, who's an absolute beast. I could see teams falling in love with that guy. 6'6", 300, moves like a running back. I mean,
right.
You don't get D tackles like that very often. I can absolutely see somebody coming up to 11, 12 and taking him. That's another name. I don't think they'd come up that high, but another name that I've been hearing a lot is Chason from LSU. People are starting to fall in love with him because there's not that many good edge rushers in this draft. So if you want to get one, you're going to have to come do it.
He was a freak at the end of last year, man. He was an absolute freak. I mean, they're game disruptors. You saw the money that, guys like D Ford got last year. Like, they make a difference, and you have to have them to win.
So speaking of trades, I talked about Atlanta.
Yeah.
Heard a little bit about the Jags potentially coming up. They got some. Say they decide. Say this whole Minshew thing is a smokescreen, and they say we like Tua, Herbert, whoever. They have 9 and 20 to come up and I think it's 9 and 20 to come up and make a play for one of those guys if they want. What do they have to lose at this point?
Nothing.
Exactly. I don't think it's Gardner Minshew. He seems like a really good backup. That's what it like to me. The other 2 teams I would look for is New Orleans, because with that division getting a whole lot more
interesting,
especially if Atlanta makes a couple moves here.
Right.
They're going to have to do something potentially big to add some talent. Do you think,
not to interrupt, but do you think like the other teams are that – obviously everybody thinks Tampa Bay is going to be improved and they're probably going to be better, but like Carolina is going to be terrible.
Carolina will be terrible. I think Atlanta can still win games depending on what pieces they add over the draft. Like I said, they're trying to come up and get a stud. I mean, you add Okuda to that team. I know they lost Trufant.
Right.
He basically replaces Trufant. If you can keep Keanu Neal on the field, he's a really good safety.
Yeah. That's been their thing. They can't stay healthy. Any of them.
I think there's a chance. I mean, you still have Julio Jones. You still have Ridley. You still have some guys that can make plays.
Todd Gurley.
They just traded for the tight end from Baltimore.
Yeah.
Can't think of his name right now. Hunter.
That guy.
Yeah. Got a lot of draft on the brain. So the other team I would potentially look at come up is the Packers.
Really?
I think they're going to be aggressive. I think they have let Devontae Adams be the only wide receiver on that team for a long time.
Okay.
And they have needs in other areas, but there's going to be, yeah, obviously we know the top three guys. I don't see Ruggs falling past the mid-teens. I just don't. But you have guys like Ayuk, guys like Jefferson from LSU, like T. Higgins, if they like him. I know some teams are not really in love with him.
Right. I'm not a big fan of T. Higgins.
Maybe Higgins they can get sitting where they are. Maybe
Okay.
Rieger they can get sitting where they are. If you like those guys, but if you like Jefferson, who I think is going to be a really good football player, you like Ayuk, who I think is going to be a really good football player, they're not going to be sitting there on the Packers pick right now.
No. And that was their biggest downfall last year. Their inability to score. And, obviously, when Adams was out for a little bit, but just roll your coverage to Adams. You don't have to worry about anybody else. They didn't have anybody else that could break the field. They had a running game, obviously, and those guys caught a lot of passes out of the backfield, but they had to rely heavily on that. And that's not a recipe for winning, I don't think. Like, that's something, you can sprinkle in and catch people by surprise. But yeah, you need another game changer on the other side of the field. And Jefferson's it for me. I mean, he's physically dominant. He's fast. He's big. He's strong. He could probably play slot at 6'1", although 200 pounds is a little concerning. But move him all over the field, game-breaking speed. I mean, you have to adjust, to that if you're a defense. But that's not typically what they do, is it? It's not typically what the Packers.
No, but has what they've typically been doing worked? Because they haven't been to a Super Bowl in a decade at least. So
right, and let's be honest, 3 years max for Rodgers?
They have a window now. I mean, it was a large window, and now it is not.
It's not,
especially for him playing at an elite level.
Right.
I think you surround him with as much talent as you can, and if the defense suffers for it, hey, just hope you outscore them.
Yeah.
And if you give that guy enough weapons, you will.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like you're overly scared of the Bears. If you're in that, if you're the Packers, you're not scared of the Lions. And quite honestly, I don't know if you're scared of the Vikings at this point either. So that division is theirs for the taking.
Absolutely. My last question for you is, do we see a running back taken in the first round?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think so. I really don't. I mean, there's no game-changing Saquon Barkley's. There's nobody like that. And I think
believe it would have to be at the end of the first round if one goes. And I would think, again, if you believe what you read, I think the consensus is Swift out of Georgia's probably the first one off the board.
Okay. I mean, it's possible Kansas City takes him.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
Yeah.
I don't see Taylor going today. I don't see Dobbins going in the first round.
Which is, I'm going to be honest, like out of the bunch, Dobbins I think is the best by far. I don't think it's even close. But no, it's tough, man. It's tough to pay because you have to pay him all that money. And I mean, I think a lot of teams have learned their lesson. I mean, look at Leonard Fournette. We talked about him on our last show. They picked him fourth, and there's a lot of other guys that they could have had instead of him. And
now they got rid of him.
Now they got to get rid of him and then sell him for pennies on the dollar. So it's just not a good investment. If you're later in the first round, maybe it is. You're the Chiefs. You don't have a ton of holes. Maybe you take a flyer on a guy and see if he can be a game breaker.
Cool. You got anything else for me?
That's it, man. Are you excited? Are you pumped? I know we've been talking about this for a lot of weeks.
Extremely excited. Make sure you guys follow us on Twitter tonight for sure. I'll try to post them on Facebook as well, and retweet them through the Lunday Sports Twitter app. But we'll be live tweeting the draft from our personal Twitter handles. Mine is at CUSE34. And Michael?
I'm at Mike Bezeski, LSJ. It's Pesesky. That's how you spell my last name. So I'll be reacting to every single pick in the first round.
All right, and then look for a write-up, kind of a first-round review tomorrow morning. And that'll be from yours truly. That'll be on the website. I'll make sure I share it. And might even, if I'm feeling frisky tonight, give you a little preview of who my best available are going into day 2.
Sounds good, man. Should be a good time. Can't wait.
All right. Talk soon.
All right, man.
Enjoy the draft.
You too. Later.